When was the last time you saw a talking animal movie that actually had something to say?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Exactly. Well, Hoppers might have actually just changed that narrative.
I hope so.
Yo, my name is AJ, and if you love thinking deeper about movies, TV, and anime, you're in the right place. Hoppers isn't another one of your average talking animal movies. And if you think it is, maybe you missed the point. Or maybe you were just distracted by all the, charades.
You must do exactly as we say, Harry. LOL, I mean, Jerry.
You know my name?
But the big question everyone's asking is, does Hoppers live up to the Pixar legacy?
That's a ridiculous question. False.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. The jury's still out on that one. But that shouldn't discourage you from going to see it or watching it on streaming. See, I don't know about you, but ever since I was a kid, I've always wondered what animals were thinking. If we want to get specific, I always wish I could hear what dogs were thinking. Because, they're so expressive.
My name is Doug. I have just met you, and I love you.
Cats? Not so much. They're a little devious. But I won't get into the dogs versus cats debate here. Because Hoppers isn't about pets. No. They took it a step further. Their goal with this movie was to be a part of the actual ecosystem. Or should I say pond.
We created a revolutionary technology that gives us unprecedented access to the animal world. We call it Hoppers.
Moral of the story, the Hopper Project was more than your average childhood fantasy. They were exploring in the name of science, or at least that was the plan, until your not so friendly neighborhood conservationist, Mabel Tanaka.
Doc! Oh, I need your help. Mabel, I'm in the middle of class. A class that you are enrolled in.
Sup, Mabel?
Found out about the new highway the mayor was building. And that's where things turned up a notch. From a run-of-the-mill talking animals movie to the next Pixar film. Initially, after watching the trailer, I came to the conclusion that Mabel must have been some type of child prodigy or genius to come up with the technology to not only speak to animals, but also put your conscience into one.
This is incredible!
To essentially become one with the pond, so to speak. Some might call it spying, but I like to think about it as market research.
Liar!
Now, I may have jumped the gun on the whole child prodigy thing, and sure, Mabel might lack in expertise, but she makes up for it with passion. So she might not be a genius just yet, but at least she was in the room where it was all going down. Well, to be more specific, she was enrolled in a class that was taught by the professor who was behind the whole Hopper Project. But regardless of the semantics behind how Mabel found her way into the mind of a beaver, it turns out that Hoppers was going to be more of a conservationist, animal lover type of movie.
What is this? Mabel?
Dr. Sam, you're experimenting on animals?
I'll handle her. Nisha, no.
This is crazy.
Now, I don't want to give the whole movie away, so let's just say they keep most of the how this works segments of the movie to a minimum. This story focuses more on the characters and their motivations, which is something they spent a really good amount of time on earlier in the movie to help establish Mabel's character, so all of her rebel antics felt congruent with the character that we were introduced to as a child.
I'm Mabel, and I'm gonna get you out of here.
Now, if you made it this far into the video, you clearly enjoyed thinking deeper about movies, TV, and anime. Comment pond rules so I know you're a true warrior.
What are pond rules?
Oh, I am clearing the rest of the day.
Okay, quick question. If you could be any animal for one day, which one would you be?
Squirrel!
Let's get a little bit more critical about Hoppers. Honestly, I think Hoppers is one of those movies where the backstory ends up being better than the actual movie. Similar to another one of Pixar's movies, Up.
Am I crying? No, I'm not crying. You're crying.
Now, walk with me here before you go crazy in the comments. I'm not saying that movies like Up and Hoppers are bad movies.
You sure about that?
It's just when you really think of the movie Up, generally, the first thing you think of is the opening.
You sure about that?
Because it takes place over the course of one's life. And sure, the story might not be over, but the backstory has a finite nature to it. And shoot, if you wanted to roll the end credits right then and there, I think that audience would have been satisfied.
Okay, I'm waiting for the punchline.
It would have for sure been sad, but nobody would have batted an eye because the core of the message got across. And I believe Hoppers is another example of that. Regardless of how you feel about the rest of the movie, you cannot tell me that Mabel's backstory doesn't hit you in the feels.
Feel better?
No!
You're okay.
And before I get cooked, I'm not saying that Up and Hoppers are the same caliber of movie. I'm simply making an observation and I'm sticking to it. Because the opening of Hoppers is the best part of the movie. The opening of Hoppers really sets the tone for who the main character is versus who they end up becoming based on where the main storyline picks up in present day.
I basically lived in that glade growing up. Oh, these pants look comfy.
The opening of the movie does a good job of expressing Mabel's immense love for animals.
Frogs, fish, cute duck family, baby ducks, more baby ducks.
And also her connection with her grandma, who was also the first person to see Mabel for who she is at her core.
It's hard to be mad when you feel like you're part of something big.
So seeing Mabel's fascination with animals and nature really blossom was a treat. From simply just starting off just trying to save your class pet to now where she's taking on the whole local government.
Mabel.
Mayor Jerry,
How's the arm?
come find out.
Hoppers has a very strong opening act. Some might argue too strong. So the rest of the movie had a lot to live up to. Like in most Pixar films, in Hoppers, there's a healthy mix of sentimental values baked into the comedy, which this movie has in droves. The way I see it is that this movie could have gone one of two ways. Option one, they could have really focused on the more scientific and technical side of things when it came to the Hoppers themselves. It made the movie more about discovery, which if you ask me would have muddied the water, so to speak.
We do not use hopping technology to upset the animal world. She found the button.
As far as Mabel's backstory goes. So there was no need for her to become a super genius to save the pond. What they needed was passion and a reckless abandon, which Mabel had more than enough for everybody.
Mabel, be careful!
Now, option two relies heavily on emotional intelligence, which will make the use of the Hoppers more of a means to an end, to then save the pond. To save the pond, yes, but also save Mabel from herself, with the help of the mighty King George, of course.
Greetings, human king. I offer you my fragrant, soothing oils to calm you. It's good.
Now, I don't want to go into too many details in case you still haven't seen the movie yet, but Mabel has spent most of her life up until this point being misunderstood, being put down by others who frankly just didn't care as much as she did about animals and just the planet in general. It's hard enough to navigate school already, and now you're this known rebel around the town. Plus, it can't be easy trying to save the planet and pass your algebra test all before lunch.
To some people, it's an empty piece of land. But for those animals, it's home. So, what do you say?
So from the outside world, all she ever really got was pushback. So that built up resentment and anger. And to be honest, trust issues. Even her own parents didn't really get it. And at a certain point in life, no matter how old you are, you want to not only be seen, but also understood. We all need at least one person to see us for who we are and believe in what we're trying to accomplish, regardless of what the circumstances are. Now, there was one person who did get it. And for Mabel, that one person was her grandma, because she was the one who actually nurtured Mabel's love for animals and nature by way of this pond that she used to take Mabel to as a kid. And before she transitioned, she tasked Mabel with protecting it, thus becoming where the heart of this story begins, which by and large makes option two a way more fulfilling story, because you can really cover so much ground and pull on so many more heartstrings by taking that route, especially when it comes down to learning how to control your anger and frustration, or learning to trust people, or in this case, you know, the king of mammals. It makes for potentially a way more insightful movie. And I think Hoppers did a good job at displaying that.
It's just the perfect place to calm down and relax and deal with your rage issues, you know? Everyone's got rage issues, am I right?
Get her!
Oh, she is so agile.
Stop, young lady!
But if you want to hear more in-depth conversations about TV, movies, and anime, definitely check out the podcast, the Why I'm Geek Show, here on YouTube or your favorite podcast app. Now, at the end of the day, Hoppers is still a kid's movie, right? So there's going to be some goofy parts that you gotta just, you know, kind of turn your brain off for. At least that's kind of what happens to me. But I believe the depth of this movie shows up when you need it most. Now, speaking of depth, there was one part of this movie when I completely lost immersion, and that was when a certain sea dweller showed up.
Hi, how are you?
To not so much save the day in a sense, but as more of a shock factor, and probably to help with engagement in a really intense moment, to simply be the plot device that, you know, brought us home, so to speak. Now, I won't go into deep as far as to what actually happens, but once you see it, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. In short though, it's crazy how, you know, one small addition could completely take me out the zone like that. Granted, it wasn't like it wasn't a necessary piece of the puzzle to help finish telling the story they wanted to tell, but it just made me question everything I just saw.
If you just do stuff and nothing happens, what's it all mean? What's the point?
Now, sometimes that could be good or that could be bad, but in this case, personally, I don't think it was conducive to the story. And it just makes me wonder, like, what were the other options at this point? But like I said earlier, this wasn't a deal breaker or anything, but it was just something I couldn't ignore. Now that we got some of the bad stuff out the way, where Hoppers really shined was with the actual animals. All the different personalities were so funny. The way that they were able to cover so many different intricacies of like the natural order of things in the wild was amazing. It was such a succinct way to not only simultaneously create tension, but also lean into the emotional intelligence gems that we got to see Mabel grow from in real time. It was a lot of fun to watch the council specifically, all the different kings and queens. And I also love all the different choices they made along the way. Because we gotta remember, at the end of the day, they're just animals, fish, bugs, and anybody could get squished.
Their treachery ends here, now! Let's squish the humans!
Wait,
Oh, and don't even get me started on the emoji battle. That giant was hilarious. All in all though, I enjoyed Hoppers, and I think it's another Pixar success story. Though it might not break any records at the box office, especially with what's coming out this year, but it'll definitely get them spins on streaming. I like the lessons that we learned along the way, and I love the awareness that they brought in subtle and not so subtle ways about how animals are getting pushed out of their natural habitats because the people want to keep expanding and expanding. But at the end of the day, I got some good laughs from it, so that's why I would give Hoppers an 8 out of 10 G-File score. But other than that, that's all I got for Hoppers. If you enjoyed this review, here's another one that we think you would like. But before you go, make sure you hit that like button, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss another one of my reviews, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.